Good evening, and welcome to the Planning Commission of the City of Moreno Valley. I now call this meeting to order on September 23rd, 2021 at 7:02 p.m. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Cobian,
Present.
Commissioner Begaris,
Here.
Commissioner Sims,
Here.
Vice Chairperson DeJournette,
Here.
Chairperson Korzek.
Present. The Pledge of Allegiance will now be led by Commissioner Sims. Please stand.
Please stand or place your hand over your heart, face the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are now going to move to the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion and a second, please?
I motion.
Commissioner Bergeris
Second.
and Commissioner DeJournette. Can we start the vote? Have they all voted? I can't.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, look, I'm assuming that it is, there we go, all right, that it is approved 5-0, so it's unanimous. All right. Next, I'm going to discuss the public comments procedure. Any person wishing to address the commission on any matter, either under the public comments section of the agenda or the scheduled items or public hearings, must fill out a request to speak form available at the door. The completed form must be submitted to the secretary prior to the agenda item being called by the chairperson. In speaking to the commission, members of the public are limited to 3 minutes per person, except for the applicant for entitlement. The commission may establish an overall time limit for comments on a particular agenda item. Members of the public must direct their comments to the chairperson of the commission and not to other members of the commission, the applicant, the staff, or the audience. Next, we have public comments on any item not on the agenda. Are there any speakers?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next, we're going to move to the consent calendar. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and non-controversial and may be enacted by one motion unless a member of the commission requests that an item be removed for separate action. Items withdrawn for report or discussion will be heard after the public hearing items. Questions or comments from the public on a consent calendar matter are limited to 3 minutes per individual and must pertain to the subject under consideration. Do we have any public comments on the consent calendar?
I have one speaker, but I'm not sure if he's the applicant or not. I'm not sure if he filled out the wrong form. His name, Jigish Shah.
That's one of our applicants. I presume that he's here for his item. Thank you. Not for this item.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so under the consent calendar, we have item 1, minutes of the August 26, 2021 Planning Commission meeting. May I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I motion.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Okay, and let's call for the vote. I'm showing away, but I'm really not. I'm here.
We'll note in the minutes that you
No.
were here.
I'm here, okay. I'm just a figment of your imagination. I did vote yes, so please put that on the record. So the motion does carry. The next item on the agenda is non-public hearing items. At this time, we have no items. And we go to the first item under public hearing, which is item number 1, plot plan and conditional use permit for a 4-story hotel with 126 rooms and amenities that include a pool, spa, and patio for outdoor dining. May we have the staff report, please?
Madam Chair, this item will be presented by Associate Planner Jeff Bradshaw.
Thank you, Chair Korzik and members of the Planning Commission. My name is Jeff Bradshaw. I'm the Associate Planner assigned to this project. And as you read from the agenda, Chair Korzik, the application, or the project rather presented to you this evening, does include 2 applications. One plot plan and the other conditional use permit for the development of the Hilton Garden Inn project. The project site is located within the Towngate Square Shopping Center. The parcel that you see highlighted on the screen now is behind the Winco grocery store, and the corner parcel is located at the intersection of Gateway Drive and Memorial Way. The project site's located within the office commercial zoning district of the Towngate specific plan, and as a hotel within this zoning district, it requires the approval of a conditional use permit. While the city's municipal code requires concurrent approval of a plot plan application, and that application would be used for staff review of the project to enforce city requirements and design standards on the project. And those are the 2 applications presented to you for your consideration this evening. The exhibit before you on the screen now is the site plan. So you can see depicted the location of the hotel's footprint and the circulation and access and parking design around the hotel. As described previously, the project does propose to develop a new hotel site, or a new hotel rather, on this location. It's a 2.19 acre parcel, and this would be a continuation of the development of this Towngate Square Shopping Center. We've seen quite a bit of development through the years with Winco as the anchor. Fairfield Inn is a hotel that was built some years ago by the same developer in this shopping center, as well as the restaurants and some of the other things we've seen develop. And this would be one more opportunity to see this center develop to its full potential. The design of the hotel includes 4-sided architecture. The applicant worked with us to make sure that all 4 elevations are balanced and include detail. The design includes changes in vertical and horizontal dimensions. This is intended to separate and highlight the different building elements in order to break up the massing of each elevation. The elevations combine multiple materials, including the use of stucco with 3 colors, cement panels to give a faux redwood finish, ledge stone, variation in the mullion design in the windows, the use of dark aluminum framing in the windows and storefront entrances, and then trellis features that you can see in this rendering around the exterior of the ground floor. The project as proposed and designed and with the conditions of approval applies with both the standards of the Towngate specific plan as well as our city's municipal code. And staff's recommendation to the Planning Commission would be to approve resolutions 2021-33 and 2021-34 approving the project. That completes my staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner questions for staff? Could we start with Mr. Stims? Do you have any questions?
Mine's more of just a general question. There's been, several new hotels in this general vicinity. Does the city work with the hotel ownerships both in that locale and then along there's several hotels along Sunnymead Boulevard. Is there a demonstrative difference in vacancy or utilization with the hotels on Sunnymead versus those that are these new ones that are going in?
That, for my part, that's information I'm not familiar with. I don't know if anyone here from staff would be prepared to speak to that. But our applicant is here this evening, and I'm sure he'd be glad to share any information he might have on on vacancy rates for the area and here in Moreno Valley in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I drive over there in that area. It seems like there's good utilization in the new areas. I was just curious. It's kind of the same conversation we've had in prior at the Planning Commission. There's, you know, there's always a move afoot to have new, and I get that, and that's great. And but at the end of the time, there's other people that came before the new developers that has expended time, effort, money, and investment in the city. And you know, it's one of those. I fully believe in capitalism. Let the market drive. But at the end of the day, you know, Sunnymead Boulevard has challenges along its way. And anyhow, it just seems like, you know, it's where we've talked about adding more commercial and business, you know, strip centers and, you know, little shopping neighborhood things. At the end of the day, there's, you know, there's always so much. Anyhow, I would be interested in hearing what the utilization rate or vacancy rate is on Sunnymead Boulevard.
Madam Chair, if I could note that the uses, when they're permitted uses, wouldn't be subject to kind of an analysis like that. And we do have quite a bit of hotel interest, so presumably there's market there for them. There's a lot of interest in hotels and motels around now, so I would presume that there is quite a bit of business to be had there.
Yeah, and I fully believe market will. It's like the 42 cannabis operations or whatever, you know, that will sort itself out appropriately. But anyhow, I would think we just want to be mindful as commissioners and, you know, especially the elected and the economic drivers, that you don't focus in all on one spot and then forget about other spots and create a potential disadvantage that could be exacerbated, especially along Sunnymead Boulevard. Anyhow.
Okay. Commissioner DeJournette, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Commissioner Burgaris.
If this project gets approved tonight, is that already all the lots in that area are full, or there's more vacancy? Could you mention something?
Yeah, there is more vacancy. There's at least 2, if not 3 more parcels. I don't know if it's depicted here.
Ah, okay.
There's at least 2 more parcels. I think a third, and I believe 2 pad sites remaining in that center that are available for development.
Great, thank you.
And Commissioner Cobian?
Yeah, I have one question. Is it noted if the developer, I know that in previous projects I've seen developers agree to have, to possibly local hire or something in there saying that they're gonna try to at least hire within a certain proximity. Has anything been in writing? Like, is that in the development agreement?
In the conditions of approval, there's actually a section, very particular, 4 conditions, I believe, from our Economic Development Department that speak to just that, local hires and opportunities to coordinate through the city towards that effort.
Thank you.
And I don't have any questions at this point. At this time, would the applicant like to speak?
To answer Commissioner, I apologize, not your last name, Cobian, sir. The last development I did was the Fairfield in town here, and we actually utilized the economic development directors with their help, some of the city facilities to hold our interviews and have job fair and things of that nature. So, and sir, to answer your question, I don't have specific data as it relates to Sunnymead. I can tell you that we did a market study, and it currently shows as over an 85% occupancy rate in the Moreno Valley area, not specific to a region or specific hotels. And if anyone else has any questions for me, happy to answer them.
I have a question. What is the time frame for completion if this gets approved?
This gets approved today. My estimation is approximately 4 to 6 months for us to have our plans ready. We'll submit them to city for plan check, and we start construction. So realistically, about 8 or 9 months. We've already started showing the project to banks for financing because that's something that's been taking longer and longer lately.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have questions of the applicant? If not, at this time, we'll open this for public testimony. The clerk will call upon each person who has requested to speak. Each member of the public wishing to speak will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak on this item. Do we have any public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, commissioners, if you have any other questions of staff or the applicant, this would be the time to do it. If not, we will move on to deliberations where we are not supposed to do any of that. So, any more questions? Okay, then I'm going to move us on to deliberations. Would anyone like to weigh in at this point? Anything? Well, I particularly like the project. I really love the design. It's very forward-thinking. It's a nice change. And so I don't know what the process was to develop this, but I do like the colors, and I do like the look, and I personally like to see newer things coming up in our city, so it makes me real happy to see this. I personally have placed people in those other 2 hotels in that area, and they've been very successful. And Commissioner Sims, I do know I've had trouble booking people into hotels in Moreno Valley at certain times of the year, so I do know there is need for more. Other than that, that's the only comment I would like to make. Anyone else?
I'll take a shot at, thank you. Gateway, for many of us that lived in the city for 25 years and longer, know that corner very well. We know it so well that it's been vacant for that long. So we're happy to have another hotel that's gonna create, at least for sure, local jobs. Because a hotel, you need a body of people to operate it. Not one person can handle the whole building. So we know, because since we've been in hotels before, when we vacation, we know there's a whole set of people, from dining to doing the beds, everything. So I know there's gonna be local jobs, and there's gonna be happy people that are gonna be able to live in Moreno Valley, work in Moreno Valley, and go home sooner than later. That's the beautiful thing about having jobs and developing in the city of Moreno Valley. For the developer, you pick a great corner, very good corner. Across the street from your competitor, across the street from the apartments, and right next to Costco and everything else that's around it. So there are gonna be people that are gonna be able to walk to our Day Street that has a lot of restaurants, a lot of great improvement. Even Riverside will benefit from it. So that's the good thing about having 126 rooms and guests that come, walk easy to Day Street, eat, enjoy the scenery, and go back home. So I welcome that project. Thank you, sir.
Any other commissioners? Okay, if not.
No, I have a comment, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I do know that, I want to second some of Rafael's comments. I do know that with the new hospital being built, Canyon Springs Medical Center, I do feel that there would be a good need for a hotel in that corner. I also agree it's a good spot. I do hope that, when we discuss the local hire for the hotel, it's not just for the hotel workers, but for the actual construction of the project as well. I know there's a lot of construction workers in the area that would probably be interested in working close to home, so that's my only comment. Thank you.
Thank you. If no one else has a comment, I'll accept a motion.
Motion?
Well, you have to read it.
Oh, sorry.
If go to page 4, you'll see what the motion is to approve that resolution.
Good.
Staff recommends that the planning commission take the following action.
Actually, we are recommending it.
Right.
Staff is
W-
recommending
yeah.
it to us, so we are recommending. we are recommending the approval of this resolution.
Okay.
And you have to read the resolution numbers.
Resolution numbers 2021-33.
And then there's one other one after it.
Therefore, and thereby.
I believe, isn't there a second?
34.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So it would be, you would approve resolution -33, and then you would move down to the next one that says resolution 2021-34. If that is your intent.
2021-34. Yes, it is.
Okay. You'll get it. It's really not difficult. You just have to read everything.
Just takes a little, yeah.
Okay, may we have a second, please? And
Second.
Commissioner Bergeris is the second. Okay, let's go for the vote. Yeah, we're on the wrong. I seem to be having technical difficulties, so, it went through, okay. All right, so motion is approved unanimously. Congratulations. May we have this, the staff wrap-up, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, the action taken by the Planning Commission tonight is an appealable action. Any interested party that would like to file an appeal would need to do so within 10 days in writing, directed to the Community Development Director and with the appropriate fee. If an appeal is filed, it will be scheduled for consideration by the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Item number 2, conditional use permit for a new 2,400 square foot commercial cannabis dispensary for retail purposes only on a 0.58 acre vacant lot located within the village specific plan. May we have the staff report, please?
Senior Planner Sean Kelleher will present this item.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Commissioners. Sean Kelleher, Senior Planner. The project before you this evening is a conditional use permit for a new commercial cannabis dispensary called Desert First. The project site is located on the south side of Atwood Avenue, west of Paris Street. The project site is located within the village specific plan within the Village Community Commercial District. And the proposed cannabis dispensary is considered a conditionally permitted use within this district. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 2,400 square foot single-story building to be operated as a commercial cannabis dispensary for retail purposes only on a 0.5 acre vacant lot. The applicant is proposing to provide a total of 11 on-site parking stalls, consistent with the minimum retail parking requirement for one space for every 225 square feet of building area. 2 secured parking spaces are provided and incorporated into the project, including one within the building itself. The proposed improvements to the site will include new exterior lighting, landscaping, a trash enclosure, 6-foot concrete block walls along the south, east, and west property lines where it is adjacent to existing single-family residential uses. The proposed interior of the building will include a new lobby area, reception area, displays and sales, office, secured storage, restroom, and a shipping and receiving room. The applicant is proposing hours of operation between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday. The architectural design of the proposed building reflect that of a Spanish architectural style, which is consistent with the village-specific plan design guidelines. The architectural elements of the building include clay Spanish roof tiles, faux terracotta vents, stucco, which is in 2 complementary earth tone colors, all of which create a cohesive architectural design. The proposed project, as designed and conditioned, does comply with the standards of the city's municipal code. Therefore, staff recommends the Planning Commission approve resolution number 2021-35, certifying that the project is categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, and approve planning case PEN 19-0003, subject to the conditions of approval. Staff would note that there were 2 public comments received prior to the publishing of the staff report. They were both included in the staff report documentation that was sent to you prior to the hearing. With that, that concludes staff's presentation. I'm available for any questions, and the applicant is also available as well. Thank you.
Okay, let's start with Commissioner Cobian. Do you have any questions of staff?
So one question, is that, so that is zoned for this already? You did mention that, right, already?
Yes, sir. The property is zoned community commercial. It is within the village-specific plan, and this use is a permitted use within that, a conditionally permitted use, I should note, within that district.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bergaris.
Thank you, ma'am. So when I go to the corner and I stand in front of the plaza, so you're telling me across the street from the plaza, that's zone for commercial
Yes, sir.
in all those houses
Where all of those houses are is zoned for commercial.
for commercial?
Yes.
And the applicant purchased the lot to build this particular project there,
Correct.
okay? Because reading the staff report, he didn't give a specific time when he was gonna operate the business. I know from 6 to 10, but he didn't give a specific time when he's gonna operate the business. And I'm concerned about the houses that are between the lots. I mean, I went there 3 times in that neighborhood. And I'm surprised that the whole street is commercial. So what you're telling me, or what I'm hearing, is that if that lot was in the middle of the block, he can buy it and put a business there.
So along Paris, so as you can see on the image that I have on the screen currently, along Paris, it is commercially zoned. The commercial zoning extends 3 parcels in to Atwood from Paris Street. Beyond that, the area noted in yellow is a residential zoning designation within the village specific plan.
So the yellow, that means that no one can go inside that particular zoning to do a business,
To do
that kind of business,
to do this kind of business.
right? They cannot.
No, they cannot.
So everything from the corner to the red is open for commercial.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm just learning how this it goes because, again, we know that it's zoned for cannabis, that area. But what I'm looking at is when I go up that street, I see houses on both sides of this lot. Okay, and that, to me, that's a concern.
So as noted in the staff report, the homes that are all located along Paris are considered legally non-conforming. So that means they were legally established at some point in time. However, today they no longer conform to the zoning designation. So they can continue to be utilized as homes, but new homes would not be something that would occur
Because of the commercial?
because of the commercial designation. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner DeJarnay.
No questions.
Commissioner Sims.
Yeah, I have the same, I was kind of tracking with Commissioner Bergaris about, and I noticed on the project on page 7, or it's packet page 65, the statement that the single-family residents are non-conforming single-family residences to the east and west, and I don't know, this seems like I own a house. City comes in and rezones my property. I guess there's the potential that maybe the value goes up because it's now in a specific plan, but it's still a house, and I'm not so sure if they didn't necessarily agree with that. So I don't know. That's a kind of tough situation myself.
You don't, okay. Sean, I have just one question. We received a letter from Liberty Baptist Church, and in it, it says they did not receive the required written notification, but they were outside the zone for the written notification?
The Liberty Baptist Church is actually with regard to item number 3 this evening.
Okay.
Both of the comment letters that came after the noticing that you have at the dais, both of those were actually for item number 3. And we are going to look, we are looking into that to see what occurred with the noticing. The noticing that we received was prepared by a title company and was utilizing the most recent assessor rolls, so we're not certain why they wouldn't have received a letter, being that those notices were certified.
Okay, my apologies.
That's
I
okay.
read cannabis. I assumed it was for tonight because it was here. That's another day. Okay,
Yes.
I do have a question.
go ahead.
So on the zoning map right here, so the red is the specific plan 204 with the commercial, whatever it is, the designations it has. The gold, what is the zoning on that?
So that property, give me just one moment.
Well, it's residential, correct?
It
The
is a
gold,
residential designation also within the specific plan.
no, the brown, gold, mustard color, whatever that is.
It's also within the specific plan.
And what is the, okay, what's the land use prescribed for that, the density?
We can continue looking for that if you don't mind moving on. I'll keep
Okay.
searching and Sean can respond to
I have
additional
another
questions.
question, ma'am.
Commissioner Bergaris, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. I'm looking at the map and I see red. Is everything on Paris Boulevard like that, all red all the way from one end to the other, commercial like that?
I'm generally, yes. I'm not gonna make a specific comment without having my map in front of me.
Okay, so everything from the corner, from the main street, from the corner in, all the way across Paris Boulevard and maybe every other avenue is zoned like that.
So I will say that the properties directly to the north that the shopping center is located in is the same designation.
Yeah, 'cause
I
see
can
red from
say
the-
that I can say that affirmatively. Directly across the street, that site is actually outside of the specific plan area, but that is also a commercial designation as well. The specific plan area actually ends at Paris Boulevard. That is the furthest that specific
Okay.
plan goes.
Oh, I'm learning something tonight, how the zoning is on Paris Boulevard. And if somebody don't know well enough and puts a house on a corner, something else can go next to it, like that, like tonight. Okay. The pictures, Sean, the pictures that I'm looking at, who sent them? The garbage, the corner, the alley?
That was one of the individuals who commented on the project. That's where those pictures came from.
So that has nothing to do with the project at all, he sent pictures.
Those are, I don't know if that speaker is here, if that person is here to speak this evening. I would have to, defer to them as to what specifically they're pointing at with those pictures.
Okay.
I will note that, the site, when I went out today, there was some debris on the site today. The applicant will be, required to clean it up and will be required to maintain it under the conditions of approval. Also, to Commissioner Sims' question, the designation for the property that is identified in yellow, gold, however we want to refer to that, is Specific Plan 204, which is also the Village Specific Plan, Village Residential designation.
What
That-
kind of density does that?
So that allows a density of up to 15 dwelling units to the acre.
And how deep,
And-
and how far does that go that would be to this is on the south side, so to the west?
So that designation extends almost all the way over to Heacock. Along Heacock, there are a couple of different designations along that street that are also in the village-specific plan. To Commissioner Bergaris' question related to the community commercial, the SP 204 community commercial designation, all of the property within the specific plan that is located along Paris generally has the same frontage depth that is zone-specific Plan 204 community commercial from Dracia all the way to the freeway, the exception of that being the city park.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If there are no other questions of staff, would the applicant like to speak?
Hi, good evening. My name is Caesar McGuire, and I'm one of the owners of the project for Desert First. I've read the oppositions that were filed in response to the project. I currently co-own a dispensary in Los Angeles County. It is very similar in regards to being surrounded by residential homes. We have been in operation there for 3 years, and we've had zero issues in regards to loitering or nuisance. So we're very acclimated as far as being surrounded by residential homes operating this kind of business. The property on Atwood was purchased by us almost 4 years ago. When we purchased the property, it was a rundown drug house, and we actually had a lot of issues with homeless and whatnot. And so anyway, long story short, our intention is to beautify the property and make sure it's safe and well lit. This industry is extremely regulated by the state and the city. We understand the concern by local constituents when they hear about cannabis. However, dispensaries are ran much like a pharmacy. We don't allow clients to hang out in parking lots, whether it's to congregate or to consume any products. We will have security as required by the city and state. Our hours of operation will be in accordance with local ordinance. Currently, we're in operation in Los Angeles County, and we operate from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday. On Sundays, we operate from, I believe, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays. Our staff does get there a little early, so does the security, because whenever our staff gets there, we actually have to make sure we have security on site as well to make sure the premises are secured. Like I said, when it comes to cannabis, I know that there's a certain stigma about it, but you can probably go to some of the local dispensaries here, and if they're actually in operation within accordance of the state and city ordinances, there you will see that it doesn't look like a liquor store, as commented by one of the one of the neighbors that had actually filed an opposition, and so it's extremely difficult to land these licenses. We've actually been working on this project for almost 4 years already. We understand the delicateness of the situation. We also understand how serious it is as far as your license, and we just go above and beyond to make sure that we're always within our local and state ordinances to make sure that we don't have any issues. And then as far as we do understand also that it is in a residential area. That's why our recommendation as well is to actually put a block wall around the entire perimeter, so neighbors can't see a parking lot, and it'll be secured by, like I said, security guards. So, like I said, I understand their concerns, but we've been in operation for 3 years already, and we share a parking lot actually with residential neighbors, and we have had zero issues with the city or state.
Okay, anyone have any specific questions?
I do, ma'am. Did you get a chance to talk to the neighbors on either side?
I know we talked to, it's been a while since we purchased the property. I believe we spoke to the neighbors on both sides. One of the individuals, we actually contract him now, and I know it's been a little while since we've last used him, but we were using him to actually clean up the property. He does gardening. I'm not sure if he's still there or not, but we have a pretty good relationship with him. The neighbor to the east, I believe we spoke to them as well, but like I said, it's been a while, so I'm not too sure when was the last time we actually did speak to them.
Okay, anyone else? Well, thank you. We might call you back up, but thank you very much.
No worries, thank you.
At this time, do we have any public comments?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Schaefer.
okay, there we go. Come on up. You have 3 minutes.
I'm one of the ones who wrote in opposition. Within There are 6 dispensaries within 1.5 miles of my house. Moreno Valley Awakenings is 0.3 miles. Empire Dispensary is 0.9 miles. G3 Holistics is 1 mile. That does not include the dispensary that was approved in 2019. This is my house. The dot, this picture didn't make it in, it didn't upload. But within this is all of Moreno Valley when I looked. But within my house, there's 1.5 miles, there's 6 dispensaries, not including the one that was approved in 2019 in the shopping center that is directly in front of my house, which is right here is a picture that you guys got. 141 feet away is where this empty lot is that they're proposing tonight. So that means within 140 feet of my house, I will have 2 dispensaries. In the driveway where our kids play, they ride their bikes. I'm a homeschool mom, so I'm home all day with my son. When I search dispensaries in Moreno Valley, right now there's 12. And right now, like they said, there's a house on either side of this proposed lot. Homes where people have fens over and their kids play, and across the street from where my son and our neighborhood kids play. That means there's going to be increased cars on our street, increased people walking around. I know they say that they don't. People park down our private driveway all the time to smoke their pot, to do who knows what after hours, to drink. They use this wall as their bathroom. Our kids are constantly watching out for strangers coming down our private driveway. I understand that it's zoned for commercial, but that's where we play. That's where my kids play. This is what my house looks at. The shopping center that has a dispensary already going in there because it got approved in 2019. We came to oppose that one as well for concerns for the safety of our children and our homes. However, it was voted 5-0 to approve it. So think a minute. That'll be 3 dispensaries with 0.3 miles if this one gets approved tonight. That's not somewhere I want to raise my son. Would you want your kids in a neighborhood with 3 dispensaries and a liquor store in front? Our kids are all under the age of 8 that play outside.
Thank you, Julie. Your time is up.
Can I ask one question?
Go ahead, real quick. We probably won't be able to answer it, but go ahead.
I just want to know how many dispensaries are approved on the books. Like how many has Moreno Valley allotted? Because when we were here in 2019, we were told there would be 26.
Okay, we'll get that answered for you. Thank you. We actually have that information in front of us, and we will address it for you. So you will have an answer in a moment. Are there any other speakers?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, at that point, I will close the public hearing. Sean, could you address that last one? Do you have the chart in front of you?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
And I do actually want to bring up one other item before I address that, so I don't forget about it. You did receive a memo from staff this evening related to condition number 10. We apologize for the typographical error where we identified, I'll admit we utilized the conditions of approval over and again, and unfortunately we forgot to strike Sunnymead Boulevard in that address from condition number 10. So we apologize for that. But that's for you for this evening, for that condition to be modified. Total number of dispensaries allowed within the city of Moreno Valley is 25. That number was modified back in April of this year. The total number of actual conditional use permits submitted, however, is 23. So that's where we stand today. So there are actually 2 licenses that have been issued, but no conditional use permit submitted for them.
Okay. All right. Do we have any more questions before we go into deliberation?
I do. Can you put the zoning map or the map showing the zoning, please? What's the width of this lot that the proposed project? My eyes aren't good anymore. I can't read it, so. I don't know if the applicant knows that as well. I couldn't read it on its. Didn't see what other property brought. Well, suffice to say, it whatever the width of that lot, it's so the remainder parcel, the remainder of the red area between this project and Paris Boulevard is the same width. And I guess a concern I have, and it has nothing to do perhaps with the cannabis operation, but with approval of a project like this, is if you pan just to the north on this map and you look at there's a shopping center. And they have it's a viable, they have parking, they have shops that are along the back and whatnot. It just seems like we're going to have a landlocked piece of property with what the term now is non-conforming single-family residential, and we're going to be left with a high traffic volume piece of property between along Paris Boulevard that who knows how that we can't guess what the use would be, but I would imagine traffic wouldn't allow an entry off of Atwood that close to the for commercial use that close to the intersection. So I don't know, what kind of use that you could possibly ever get out of that. To me, it's like a little landlocked remainder parcel that probably won't be used much more than what you have there.
Yeah, your questions have to be to staff or to the applicant.
So
We're
yeah,
not
what's the
deliberating
width of that? The depth, not the depth, but the width, along Atwood frontage.
We're working to pull up the plans currently. Unfortunately, the printout on ours doesn't give us the whole sheet. I'm sorry.
I guess we had to guess through looking at
It's approximately 60 feet.
it's 85 feet.
Okay.
Is that what it is, 85?
It's approximately 60 based on my scale.
Oh, 60. Does the applicant know the exact dimension?
.67 feet wide. That's what I got here.
So I guess that would be a similar width, absent any street improvements requirements along Paris Boulevard. I guess that would be another question I would have as staff. If there was a commercial use that was approved for the red piece of property between this proposed project and Paris Boulevard, is there any requirement for street width dedications or improvements along Paris Boulevard, or is that already an ultimate right-of-way?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. This is Michael Lloyd with Public Works. So on the west side of Paris Boulevard, what you see there, the curb sidewalk, that is at ultimate.
That is ultimate, okay. Okay, that's all my questions.
Anyone else before we close this and go on to deliberations? Okay, I guess not. So now I'll officially close all of this, and it will be commissioner deliberations on the subject. Would anyone like to start?
I'll start this one. I certainly have, the densification of cannabis in Moreno Valley has been discussed at this board, at this commission. And I don't know if I think we've asked staff to bring that discussion back about the densification, because I guess there's always a permitted, but is it the right thing? The permit, even though it's permitted, is it the right thing to do? And I certainly understand within the scope of the Planning Commission, we're supposed to evaluate whether or not it meets the conditions of, or the specific, the use fits within the allowable uses on this. For me on this one, I think this creates a piece of property along Paris Boulevard that will be hamstrung for any beneficial use to the city, except for another, I don't know, whatever they can jam into a little piece of property. And Paris Boulevard is a high traffic, high volume piece of land. So for that in of itself, I'm not that excited about this project. And second of all, I tend to agree there's a lot of places along Sunnymead Boulevard where we have cannabis row. There's other places where there's more designation of commercial and not right next to existing residential homes. So I don't disagree based on the specific plan. This is a permitted use, but I disagree that it's an appropriate spot, even in a permitted use.
Well, I think I disagree with you a little bit. I walked the property and I walked the neighborhood, and it's very economically distressed in that area. There's no question. And there is appearance perhaps of a high crime rate. I can't substantiate that or not. But I do know with the cannabis, what we've been able to do and other communities have been able to do, because of the increased security, because of the increased lighting, it has actually helped to clean up some neighborhoods. It's kind of a negative. You either like cannabis or you don't, and that's not the issue. But the regulations on the cannabis are so serious that the people that own this are really, their feet are held to the fire. It's not like other businesses. So my heart really goes out to the speaker and the people in the neighborhood. But looking at that neighborhood, I'm not sure that this isn't a good thing that will bring more security and more lighting to that neighborhood and perhaps improve the safety of the neighborhood. And that's, I just, walking that neighborhood, I should have asked ahead of time for the crime statistics, but it looks like there's a lot going on there, and there is a lot of distress in a lot of the homes. There's a lot of all sorts of things all over the place, and I just think with those regulations that it might make it actually safer in the long run, and it does fit all the criteria that we do have, and that's my opinion.
Well, I agree. I hear both sides. I just feel because I really, my heart goes out because that area got rezoned, and we have houses there, and I listened to the speaker and both of you too as well. But wow, if it's zoned for commercial, I can't really hang my hat on whether it's cannabis. It's zoned for commercial. A gas station could go there. A restaurant could go there. A auto mechanic shop could go there, and it could be noisy all day long. I mean, so I can't, distinguish one versus the other. Say, I wouldn't want a mechanic shop to go there versus a cannabis shop to go there. So, with it being zoned commercial until it changes, something will probably go there, and I don't know if the residents are ever really be happy what goes there. So I mean, wow, it fits in all of the categories of where they're following the law and they're following the conditions, they're following the zoning, they're following and I wouldn't want to say that I'm going to say no based on its cannabis, because if it was a gas station or a mechanic shop or anything else, I mean, whew, that's rough, So I don't want to discriminate for one or the other. Something's probably going to end up going there.
Would anyone else like to offer?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I would hope it would be apartments. That's what I would hope for. But I feel that there's an unfairness to the homeowners that were there first. Then they got rezoned. They can't move. They're not going to go anywhere. the commissioner mentioned you could put anything, a mechanic shop, something else, anything you could put in there. I mean, his project is great. I mean, he got a great project for another corner of the city. But there, no. No. I hate to, I mean, I seen that lot. It needs help. It really does. But I'm hoping it'll be apartments, not a cannabis in the middle of two houses, and it's unfair to the homeowners that were there first, and then they got rezoned. So that's my personal opinion. So I hope that he would consider finding another place and have that dream of his be put somewhere else. Or maybe he can do two things, put the apartments and do the cannabis somewhere else. The cannabis is from 6 to 10, 7 days a week. In and out, 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 in and out. And we're not talking burgers here. We're talking cannabis. It's unfair to the families that are there the longest. You know, that's just my personal opinion, looking at it over and over and over. There should be some fairness to those that were there first. And I hope that he considers moving it to somewhere else.
I've been spending most of the time right now on a satellite view of that area. And without having to look at that red stripe down Paris, you can see that it makes sense why that's there, you know, up and down Paris. I was looking at your plans. It looks like your driveway is going to line up with the driveway across the strip mall, so it wouldn't look like it'd be an issue making a right or left. Looking at your plans, it looks like you mimicked it to look like a house, which I did like the fact that you did that. Again, that, you know, I look at the satellite view and I see junkyards all up and down that area. I mean, I see so many cars and junkyards all along that area. I think that, personally, I think that lot, if it ain't gonna be cannabis, it's gonna be something else. It's gonna be another business, and there, personally, I don't think you can fit apartments in there. It's too narrow. I mean, you got 80 feet with parking, and you wouldn't be able to fit anything else in here. I think I'm gonna have to agree with Chairperson Corsick on this, that I like your plan. If it wasn't for, you know, when I first seen this, where it was located, right away I thought to myself, there's no way. But after really looking up and down, I mean, I'm looking at a satellite view. I see what's there. I've been to that corner. I think what really sold me is your plan, the colors, the landscaping, the brick wall, how the front of it's gonna face the outside, which is gonna look better than a lot of properties that are already on the street. Is there gonna be a gate that closes in the front when? Okay, yeah, there is gonna be a gate at night. I'm assuming there's gonna be good lighting. It's gonna be fully lit up. I do know that some of these dispensaries, they do a very good job of security, and they do, you know, they beautify the area, believe it or not. They bring in a lot of new landscaping. It is unfortunate that it got rezoned. I don't know how long has it been. It's probably a long time since it's been rezoned, right? Yeah, I do know this area. So that was my only statement on that.
Anyone else? Commissioner Sims?
I just want to, I'm going to vote no on it, so I'll get that out. I just get that out of the way here. But my vote isn't because of the use being cannabis. We've been over the last 3-4 years, we've been pounded about the security and this and that and the other thing, the lighting and so forth and so on. So whatever. You know, I still think that the densification is something we would never approve this. It's, you know, all the stuff that's been approved along the Sunnymead Boulevard corridor, densification should, in my opinion, be something that should be picked up by staff and should be considered as far as putting into the whatever the requirements are into this. But maybe that boat's already been out to sea. Longer we kick the can on that subject and more get approved, then we don't have to worry about it because it's already there. But I just think this is a mistake. The Paris Boulevard, just from a straight land use, the geometry of this does not work for the remainder parcel. What we're going to be left with is creating more entry, like along Alessandro coming in from the Edgemont, off of, what is it, Box Springs area, where you have a house with a commercial, and there's not enough there to create enough momentum to really do it up and do a proper renovation or refurbishment or revitalization of that corner. I just think that I don't have a problem because the project fits, with all the requirements, but we're just creating a situation where there's going to be a corner there, a high-use corner, and it's going to be a remainder parcel that will be underutilized because there's not enough there to do something with. Maybe I'm wrong. There's a lot of clever people in the world, much cleverer than me, but it just seems like because of ingress and egress and whatnot, that's a problem. So anyhow.
Anyone else? If not, we shall call for a motion. Anyone going to make the motion? Well, if not, I will make the motion. I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2021-35 with the memorandum being taken into consideration and the wording changed. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Okay, let's call for the vote. Okay, the motion is approved, 3 yeses and 2 nos. May we have a staff wrap-up, please?
Madam Chair, the action taken by the Planning Commission this evening is an appealable action. Any interested party that would want to file an appeal would need to do so within 10 days, directed to the Community Development Director in writing, and with the appropriate fee. Should an appeal be filed, it would be scheduled for consideration before the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, the next item is public hearing item number 3, and that would be by Sean. Do I need to read it if we're going to ask for the continuation?
Sean will go ahead and just give a brief recap.
Perfect.
Thank you, Chair Corsick. The item number 3 before you this evening is for a new proposed commercial cannabis cultivation facility, new commercial building, as well as a commercial cannabis cultivation business, a manufacturing facility, and dispensary. It is 3 separate licenses. This is not a proposal for a micro business. City staff, during the preparation of the staff report, was contacted by the applicant requesting a continuance to the October 14th meeting, not November 14th as was mistyped in the staff report. So staff would recommend that the Planning Commission continue it to October 14th.
Okay. Do we have a motion from anyone to continue that till October 14th?
I motion that.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, let's have a vote, please. Okay, and that is approved for the continuation. Thank you, Sean. The next item is other commission business. At this time, we have no items. The next item on the agenda is staff comments. Do we have any staff comments?
No staff comments for me, Mr. Kendia? No staff comments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any commissioner comments at this time?
I do.
Okay.
I want to let the staff and the residents know that I learned a lot about zoning tonight. And I'm just glad that we're not going to allow any more homes built in those areas, that we stop that concerning. But I'm saddened for those that already have homes there. I learned something tonight, that it don't matter to them. If somebody buys a piece of property and everything met through the planning, they have the right to put something in there. And it could be a lot noisier than was approved tonight. So I just hope that tonight that the developer will keep his promise and make that place safe. I know he will. And I didn't vote because he won't do his job. I voted is because I didn't like the unfairness to the homeowners next door to it. They lost their right to have a life without that business there. They have no say. So that's my comment tonight. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'd like to actually kind of piggyback with Commissioner Sims there. I really think that we have to, as a city, we do really have to think about our density as far as being able to put businesses compacted in certain areas. Like, I mean, gosh, we went the 9400 block or 3400 block of Sunnymead Boulevard and put 20 dispensaries right there. And it does, I think we have to look at some type of condition or some type of city ordinance to look at our, I think you're probably going to say something about that.
I don't know if you want us to respond to that, but we're following the regulations set by council. There is for a certain number which can be considered, and we follow also all regulations relative to proximity to certain uses. So following those is what we need to, it's what we need to do. That's what we do.
Yeah, cannabis seems to always be a hot button, but liquor stores don't, and I don't get it. You have more security on the cannabis than you do on the liquor stores.
And I might note that they provide a level of security that no other business provides. I have never seen, and I try to drive by them and pay attention to what's going on. I've never seen people hanging out in front of them, which I know is a fear of some people. So I think that some of the fears have not come to pass.
I live near one, and I've never seen anybody anywhere around it, and it's a high traffic area, and it's very neat and clean and looks very, very secure, and I've never seen a person hanging out.
Right, I actually concur a little bit there with Commissioner Burgess, is that somewhere down the line, before I sat in this chair, that unfairness took place when that area was rezoned from commercial with houses right there, and that's tough. That just opens up the door to put a business there right next door to someone. And if you're operating till 10 o'clock at night, there's going to be lighting, and I want to go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night. So that took place long before I got here.
I have neighbors that party till 3 or 4 in the morning, and they have a lot of lights on. I think they qualify for one of those things also. Anyway, so we don't start any deliberations. That would be against the Brown Act here. Let's adjourn the meeting.
Well, how was it?
One more?
I
You haven't done your homeless thing yet. No?
Well, I think we should just be mindful at staff and at planning commission that just going historically, the city was cobbled together through a city of towns of unincorporated areas, and so these lots that are along the Atwood, Dracia, and Heacock, or some of these Fir and all those, you got these long. I wish they had the shape. I used to be skinny and long, but now I'm just long and fat. But anyhow, the kind of there are issues in the city. You come along out. We talk about Alessandro, about the entry portal. There's all these old buildings and whatnot, and here we have another major. Paris Boulevard is a major cross from freeway to Ramona Expressway thoroughfare through our high volume, high traffic, high commercial, high use. And if with setting ourselves up for approvals on projects that leave remainder parcels that are of little value to bring in a good commercial project, We're just setting ourselves up to maintain the status quo of what we have in other areas along Alessandro, along existing Sunnymead Boulevard. So I try to preach to the choir, but this is an example right here where we're leaving a remainder parcel. The use for whatever it is, that's fine. For, you know, that they have a right as a property owner to do the thing. I am not questioning that. But as a city, we just allow something to slip through that may handcuff us from having a meaningful project on that corridor. And the prosperity, the economic prosperity that would come with that would lift that whole area.
And do you want to mention anything about the homeless encampments? You always do. I'm not, you always do.
Well, you're egging me on, but I see Caltrans is busy on the 60, so that seems to abate most of the situation. I like it, so it's good. Keep it up.
Okay, great. If there are no other comments, I'm going to adjourn this meeting at 8:14 to our next regular meeting of October 14th, 2021. Thank you all, and good evening.